We live in an era where people talk too much and do too little. Everyone has an opinion, but few have results. Excuses have become the universal language, and mediocrity, the standard way of life. But there's a silent minority, made of people who decided to act. They understood that the world doesn't respect promises, only results. And self-discipline is the language of those who win in silence. The truth no one likes to hear is simple. No one is coming to save you. Not motivation, not luck, not shortcuts. Success is lonely, demanding, and requires full responsibility. You are the problem, and you are the solution. Life doesn't reward intentions, only consistent actions. That's why the strong don't wait for motivation. They create their own rhythm. Forget the idea of being ready. You'll never feel 100% prepared, and that's the secret. Those who wait for the perfect moment live trapped in doubt. Those who act, even confused, control time. Consistency is what separates dreamers from achievers. The difference between one day I'll do it and I did it is a single decision: to act now. The world doesn't bow to motivation, it bows to execution. While some talk about goals, others wake up early and do what must be done. Focus is the invisible power of the unstoppable. Self-discipline is the engine that drives those with no excuses. And those who understand this start living on another level, where effort is standard and victory a consequence. Do you want to change your life? Then stop negotiating with laziness. Act while others think. Work while others complain. Action is the universal language of empire builders. Responsibility is the seal of those who own their destiny. And consistency is the path of those who never return to comfort. It's time to shut off the excuses and awaken instinct. The world is ruthless, but fair to those who act. And this audiobook is the call, an invitation to break the habit of later and dive into now. You don't need motivation. You need courage, focus, and self-discipline. Because in the end, there are only two options: justify or conquer. How many times have you said, "I'll start tomorrow"? That's one of humanity's favorite lies, a trap disguised as comfort. Tomorrow is the cradle of stagnation, the place where dreams die before they're born. Those who live by future plans forget that time has no patience. Success speaks only one language: action. And those who delay decisions get buried by them. A wise mentor knows that the clock is the most silent enemy. While many wait for the right time, time itself moves mercilessly. The truth is simple. Tomorrow is an illusion created by those who fear now. The great achievers aren't the most talented, but the ones who choose action when no one else moves. Self-discipline is the antidote to paralysis. Procrastination is the habit of the weak. Action is the reflex of the committed. Every great result begins with an immediate choice, the bold "I start now." When someone assumes responsibility for every second, they stop being hostage to excuses. Consistency is built in the present, not on the calendar of promises. The disciplined mind knows waiting is wasting. There's no favorable wind for the one who doesn't know where to go. While some keep pushing dreams forward, others rise early, breathe deeply, and do what needs to be done. The difference between success and regret lives in the first step taken today. Tomorrow is just a fancy name for fear, and courage is the direct child of self-discipline. Think about someone who wants to change their body. How many times have they promised to start on Monday? Real transformation happens when they tie their shoes on a random Tuesday and go anyway, without motivation. That's when self-respect is born. The responsibility to care for yourself is a form of love. Waiting for motivation is useless. What changes everything is action. The secret isn't in feeling ready, but in starting despite confusion. Most people never feel prepared, and that's exactly why they stay stuck. What separates winners is commitment to the present moment. They understand that self-discipline precedes confidence. You act first. The results later prove it was worth it. Think of history's great names. None waited for perfect conditions. Edison didn't wait for all the tools. He started and built them along the way. That's the essence of action. Doing with what you have, where you are. Those who practice this develop focus and consistency, because each step clarifies the next. Procrastination is like quicksand. The more you rationalize, the deeper you sink. The brain always seeks comfort, but the mind trained in self-discipline learns to act despite discomfort. That's emotional maturity, the foundation of responsibility. Success isn't a future event, it's a present routine. Tomorrow is an anesthetic that dulls potential. People fall asleep with promises and wake up with frustration. They forget life is made of nows. Every day without action is a blank page lost. Those who practice consistency know that progress is invisible at first, but inevitable when sustained. And only those with focus can see it. Self-discipline is the engine that turns desire into motion. When you act, the universe responds. It sounds mystical, but it's pure logic, cause and effect. Those who act harvest. Those who wait watch. The secret is to treat each day as your last, because one day it will be. The responsibility to live with intensity belongs to those who understand time doesn't negotiate. If you want to build something great, start now, even if you don't know how. The answers come along the journey, never before it. Action creates clarity, and clarity creates focus. While the indecisive think, the disciplined act. That's the difference between dreaming and achieving. Destiny belongs to those who commit to the present. Don't wait for stars to align. No champion began in perfect conditions. They just took the first step. Power lies in consistency, small daily victories. Read 10 pages, run 15 minutes, turn off your phone to think. These simple, cumulative acts build empires. That's how self-discipline turns invisible foundations into visible success. There's an old saying, time and tide wait for no one. That truth never changes. When you waste the present, you sign the failure of your future. The secret isn't to have more time, but to use what you have better. The responsibility to prioritize what matters separates those who live from those who merely exist. Procrastination promises comfort, but delivers guilt. Action brings discomfort, but builds freedom. It's a paradox few understand. The path of self-discipline is hard at first and rewarding in the end. The path of inaction is easy at first and devastating later. The choice is yours, and time is your silent judge. Today is the battlefield where warriors are forged. Those who act without excuses see fear shrink once movement begins. It's action that breeds confidence, not the other way around. That's why consistency is stronger than talent. It turns amateurs into masters and dreamers into doers. If you want to change your life, start with simple gestures. Make your bed, read 10 pages, write goals, breathe deeply, and move. Small acts build the foundation of self-discipline. The secret is to do the basics with focus and intention. These details shape a solid, productive life. There's no magic, only routine. The true power is understanding that each day is a unique opportunity. Whoever masters today masters tomorrow. Responsibility means doing what must be done even when no one watches. It's what separates leaders from spectators. And when consistency becomes habit, greatness becomes a matter of time. Tomorrow is a mirage, but today is fertile ground for transformation. Those who understand this abandon excuses and embrace action with faith. They realize life won't wait, and every second is a brick in their legacy. And it's precisely here, when self-discipline meets purpose, that the strength to face the next enemy arises, defeating the invisible disease of procrastination. Procrastination is deceitful. It sneaks in softly, speaking with the gentle voice of excuses, saying, "You deserve to rest a bit more." It's the disease of modern times, the virus of inertia that paralyzes brilliant minds. And the most dangerous part? It looks harmless. People believe they're simply delaying, but they're actually drifting away from greatness. Without noticing, they trade their future for comfort. This disease feeds on justifications. Not today, I'll do it tomorrow. That's how dreams die. Not with a bang, but with a whisper. Every tomorrow is another shovel of dirt over a buried potential. The cure begins with one word: action. Movement is the natural antidote to procrastination. Once you move, fear dissolves, and the brain realizes hesitation has no place left. Self-discipline is the bitter medicine that saves lives. It teaches you to act without will, to start without clarity, and to continue without applause. Procrastination hands control to comfort. Action reclaims responsibility over your story. The disciplined don't negotiate with laziness. They know hesitation comes at a high cost. Excuses are the currency of failure. Many think procrastination is born from laziness, but in truth, it comes from fear. Fear of failing. Fear of not being good enough. Self-discipline doesn't eliminate fear. It builds courage to confront it. When you take the first step, the second one meets less resistance. That's why the secret is simple. Just begin, even trembling. The human brain is a master of self-protection. It wants to save energy, avoid risk, and remain comfortable. That's why it creates sophisticated excuses. I'll wait for the right time. I'm not ready yet. Lies. The right time is now. Consistency is what turns small actions into extraordinary outcomes. And it's born the moment someone decides to act without guarantees. A powerful trick to cure procrastination is to shrink the step. Instead of planning to run 10 kilometers, start with a 5-minute walk. What matters is generating action immediately. Small steps break inertia and create focus. And focus breeds clarity. Once progress appears, the brain becomes addicted to that sensation, and procrastination loses its grip. Think of a student who avoids studying because the subject feels huge. If they simply opened the book and read 2 pages, they'd already create motion. That's self-discipline, turning a giant task into something manageable. The secret isn't to worry about the size of the challenge, but to focus on the next move. The responsibility to start is always yours. Procrastination is like emotional debt. Every delayed task adds weight to the conscience. The mind grows restless, the body tired, the sleep disturbed. That's the cost of lost consistency. When someone commits to daily action, no matter how small, they free themselves from this invisible prison. Freedom's only currency is effort. The true enemy isn't work, it's inner resistance. That voice that says, "Not now," is the saboteur disguised as logic. Self-discipline becomes the shield against it. Each time you ignore the urge to postpone and act anyway, you train your mind for greater battles. Every disciplined act is a vote of responsibility for your future. The world's greatest achievers don't have more time. They just use time with focus. While some delay, others execute. Procrastination is an epidemic of mediocrity, and the cure demands immediate action. No plan works unless it's applied. Practice transforms intention into results. Execution is everything. Consistency is like a muscle. It weakens when unused. Every time you give in to procrastination, you train your brain to quit faster. But every time you act, you reinforce the courage circuit. That's why it's essential to celebrate small victories, a productive day, a task completed, a goal achieved. That's how self-discipline grows. Procrastination also signals a lack of purpose. When the why is weak, any distraction feels justified. But when purpose burns strong, the brain realizes there's no time to waste. That's when focus becomes natural. Those who know what they want act with clarity. The responsibility to find your why is the first step to breaking inertia. Observe your habits. How many hours are lost on social media, meaningless talks, or empty worries? That's disguised procrastination. The antidote is conscious action, replacing passivity with motion. Write tasks, design routines, set limits. Each small correction strengthens consistency and breaks the cycle of inaction. The disciplined mind sees time differently. For it, every hour is an investment. Procrastination is like spending energy with no return. But self-discipline is like compounding growth. The more you invest, the more you earn. The return is a life with less guilt and more results. It's emotional wealth. When someone truly grasps the impact of procrastination, they stop playing with time. Each lost minute is a chance gone forever. The responsibility to act is the line between dreamers and doers. The world doesn't reward intention, it rewards action. Talk less, move more. That's the unwritten law of progress. Procrastination also erodes confidence. When you promise yourself something and don't deliver, your character weakens. Consistency is the cement of self-esteem. Keeping your word builds internal respect. And when you trust yourself, progress becomes inevitable. It's a virtuous cycle, built brick by brick through self-discipline. In the end, procrastination is choosing the pain of regret over the pain of effort. That quiet choice kills more dreams than failure ever could. The cure isn't magic, it's behavior. It's daily action, no matter how small. The responsibility to change is non-transferable, and within it lies true freedom. And it's precisely when someone understands that acting is the only way forward that they begin to see the power of purpose. Because without direction, even movement loses strength. And that's where the next lesson begins, the power of purpose and vision. Purpose is the invisible fuel that moves people when everything gets hard. Without it, even talent gets lost. Having a clear vision is like setting the GPS of your soul. You may face storms, but you never lose direction. Success begins when the mind understands the why behind every action. That deep reason keeps self-discipline alive. Those without vision live reacting to chance. They wake without direction, work without joy, and dream without intention. But those with purpose wake with energy, because they know what they're building. The responsibility to find that direction is personal. No one can do it for you. Look within and ask, why do I do what I do? That question begins transformation. Many confuse purpose with goals, but there's a crucial difference. Goals change, purpose stays. It's the north that sustains consistency, even when the winds shift. When someone knows what legacy they want to leave, distractions lose power. Self-discipline becomes natural, not forced, because there's a strong reason behind every act. Think of someone who wants to change their life. If the reason is merely aesthetic, motivation vanishes at the first setback. But if the purpose is to live longer, inspire others, or be a role model for family, focus becomes unbreakable. Strength doesn't come from the body, it comes from meaning. Purpose fuels energy when willpower disappears. Vision is the map that guides daily actions. Without it, you work hard but go nowhere. With it, you save energy. Every task gains a reason, turning effort into fulfillment. The responsibility to keep that vision alive requires constant reflection. Without it, even the most disciplined lose their way. Focus is the compass of persistence. Here's a practical tip. Write your vision in detail. What will your life look like in 5 years? Where will you live? What will you do? Who will you become? Writing materializes the invisible. This strengthens focus and gives the brain direction. Self-discipline grows when the mind knows where it's heading. After all, no one stays consistent on a road they can't see. The great leaders of history shared one thing, clarity. Gandhi, Jobs, Mandela, all guided by a purpose larger than themselves. That clarity made them immune to distraction. Their consistency wasn't brute force, but conviction. When the why is strong enough, the how always appears. Purpose is the anchor in any storm. Purpose is also a filter. It separates the essential from the noise. When you know what you want, saying no becomes easy. The responsibility to protect your energy is vital. True focus isn't about doing more, but doing what truly matters. That's what turns action into progress, not mere activity. Without purpose, even rest becomes escape. People feel empty despite their achievements. Self-discipline without direction becomes torture, and consistency without meaning turns to boredom. Balance is found between ambition and significance. Meaning transforms work into mission. Motivation is unstable. It comes and goes like the wind. One day you wake up inspired, the next you can't even get out of bed. That's why depending on it is gambling with your life. Self-discipline is different. It doesn't rely on feelings, but on commitment. It's what makes you show up even when you don't feel like it. Motivation starts you, but discipline finishes you. The disciplined mind understands that action doesn't need emotion. You don't need to feel inspired to act. You just need responsibility. When you move, the right feeling comes later. Motion creates motivation, not the other way around. Waiting to feel ready is like waiting for rain to learn how to swim. Self-discipline ignores excuses and keeps moving. The secret of great achievers is simple, consistency. They do every day what others do occasionally. That repetition builds trust, strength, and identity. Discipline isn't punishment, it's freedom. Because when you control your habits, you control your life. Focus means doing what must be done, even when tired. Motivation is like fire. It burns bright but fades fast. Self-discipline, on the other hand, is a steady furnace, keeping you warm through cold nights. When you learn to act without depending on enthusiasm, you enter real power. The power to continue when the world says stop. That's action in its purest form. Think of elite athletes. They don't train only on good days. They train in the rain, in pain, when no one is watching. That's the difference between amateurs and professionals. The athlete understands that responsibility comes before pleasure. They don't wait for motivation. They create momentum through consistency. That's what leads to the podium. Discipline is the muscle behind every dream. It's built with small gestures, waking early, planning your day, keeping promises to yourself. Every act is a brick in the castle of character. Self-discipline is invisible, but its results are undeniable. It's what turns routine into progress and effort into triumph. Many quit because they wait to feel good before acting. But the truth is hard. First comes action, then comes feeling good. Your brain rewards motion, not intention. That's why those who practice consistency discover something powerful. The joy of results replaces the laziness to begin. The cycle reverses. Acting becomes natural. Motivation depends on external factors, praise, success, music. Self-discipline comes from within. It doesn't need applause. It's a silent pact with your future. When you choose to act without motivation, you're telling yourself, I take myself seriously. That's responsibility in its purest form, self-respect in motion. Consistency creates a sense of inner security. When you do something every day, your brain accepts it as part of who you are. Once that happens, action becomes automatic. Discipline isn't rigidity, it's commitment. It gives you focus to say no to distractions and yes to growth. Repetition becomes identity. It's easy to act when everything flows. The real challenge is continuing when everything falls apart. That's when self-discipline reveals itself. It's the lighthouse in dark nights, the engine that doesn't die. Even when results aren't visible, the discipline persists. They know action today is tomorrow's investment. And whoever plants consistency reaps greatness. Discipline also protects your energy. It prevents you from wasting time on pointless decisions. A strong routine eliminates mental chaos. The responsibility to stay organized is self-respect. Planning, setting goals, and respecting schedules is a sign of focus. And focus fuels productivity. Clarity replaces confusion. There's a dangerous myth that discipline is cold and emotionless. In truth, it's the opposite. Self-discipline liberates you from the guilt of procrastination. It gives you control, rhythm, and confidence. Being disciplined is living lightly because you know you're on track. That peace is worth more than fleeting motivation. Consistency is the invisible link between effort and outcome. It doesn't ask permission, it just appears over time. Those who train, read, and work with purpose daily inevitably win. It's pure math. Repeated action equals mastery. Discipline doesn't speed up time, but ensures you never waste it. Time respects the committed. Responsibility is also emotional. Discipline isn't just doing, it's managing impulses. It's choosing what's right over what's easy. It's having focus not to fall for short-term pleasure. Every time you resist temptation, your mind grows stronger. That mental strength is what separates leaders from the distracted. Self-discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement. Without it, nothing holds. It teaches you to stay consistent during droughts, to continue without recognition. Motivation is temporary, discipline is eternal. It's the invisible foundation of every success story. It turns "one day I will" into "I did." Want to improve your life? Start by ignoring mood and obeying routine. Keep promises, even small ones. Consistency compounds. The more you practice, the stronger it grows. With time, action stops being obligation and becomes pleasure. And when that happens, you're unstoppable. The impossible becomes inevitable. Motivation is a spark. Self-discipline is the lasting flame. Once you grasp this, you stop chasing motivation and start building character. True greatness doesn't come from excitement. It comes from daily responsibility. Being disciplined is walking firmly while others are still thinking. That's focus. That's real power. And at this moment, when someone understands that discipline is the real engine of change, they start to see the value of routine and effort. Because it's in that hard, repetitive ground that greatness is forged. And that's exactly what the next topic reveals. Routine is the training field of greatness. It's where character is shaped and potential turns into power. Most people flee from it because it seems boring, but that's where freedom hides. When self-discipline governs your days, chaos loses control. Life stops being an emergency and becomes construction. Routine isn't prison, it's structure. Daily effort is the price of excellence. Whoever wants results must accept discomfort as part of the process. Responsibility isn't glamorous, it's tiring, quiet, and often lonely. But it's in that silence that self-respect is built. Consistency is the invisible cement between dream and achievement. Without it, success collapses. Great achievers don't love effort. They love what effort brings. They know each drop of sweat is a vote of confidence in their future. Self-discipline is the purest form of self-love. When the body wants to stop, purpose pushes forward. Pain is temporary. Legacy is forever. Action is the path to peace. Routine is a mirror of the mind. If it's chaotic, so is your thinking. Having a routine isn't rigidity, it's focus. It's choosing where your energy goes and defending it fiercely. The responsibility to maintain focus is a daily art. Small repeated actions build a strength chance can't break. Consistency is invisible armor. Think of artists who practice for hours, even at the top of their craft. They understand that consistency is the only way to remain great. Effort isn't punishment, it's ritual. It's what separates amateurs from masters. Self-discipline ensures talent doesn't fade. Stop training, and you start declining. Routine keeps the flame alive. Routine doesn't kill creativity, it feeds it. Within structure, the mind finds freedom to create. Constant action reduces anxiety and brings clarity. When you organize chaos, your brain relaxes and performs better. The responsibility to maintain healthy habits is a gift to yourself. Discipline frees you from mental clutter. Self-discipline isn't about doing everything, but doing what matters every day. A writer who writes 1 page a day finishes a book in a year. An athlete who trains 15 minutes daily builds a strong body. Consistency compounds over time. The secret is knowing that consistency beats intensity. Progress loves repetition. Routine is like sharpening a blade. At first, the friction hurts, but then the cut becomes precise. Daily effort refines the soul. The responsibility to repeat the basics separates average from exceptional. It's not the hardest workout that defines you, but the one done with focus, day after day. Power lives in repetition. Disciplined action has a silent effect. While others chase shortcuts, the disciplined build step by step. They don't seek applause, they seek progress. Progress is quiet but unstoppable. Self-discipline teaches trust in the process. Whoever falls in love with the grind never depends on luck again. Routine is destiny in motion. Routine is a shield against procrastination. It removes the need to decide what to do. It's already decided. That saves mental energy and creates focus. The responsibility to maintain order is what leads to freedom. Only the organized can improvise with mastery. Consistency is control disguised as calm. Effort hurts, but stagnation hurts more. The body adapts to the pain of progress, but never to the pain of regret. Self-discipline teaches you to treat discomfort as an ally. Each repetition reminds you that you're growing stronger. Continuous action turns pain into performance and doubt into dominance. That's evolution. The secret isn't waiting for inspiration, but creating structure. The responsibility to do what must be done is the true engine of growth. Whoever masters routine masters themselves. Consistency transforms the ordinary into extraordinary. When discipline becomes habit, effort becomes joy. The process becomes identity. Routine is also gratitude. Showing up daily is respect for the gift of life. Self-discipline is silent appreciation for another day of opportunity. Simple actions keep the flame alive. The responsibility not to waste that time is sacred. Discipline is a form of thankfulness in motion. Every day is a blessing to build. There's beauty in the ordinary. The morning coffee, the solitary workout, the quiet dawn. These rituals build an inner fortress. Consistency creates emotional security, and focus steadies the heart during storms. When you love the process, results follow naturally. That's where peace lives, inside repetition. Daily effort also teaches humility. It reminds you that nothing comes easy and that every win is a gift. Self-discipline shapes character. Responsibility keeps ego in check. And constant action prevents stagnation. Routine doesn't limit life, it deepens it. Effort refines gratitude. Work refines the soul. The world glorifies results but forgets the process. The real champions are those who respect the path. Consistency turns ordinary days into greatness. Focus keeps the route steady when fatigue comes. Embracing routine is understanding that progress is invisible before it's inevitable. The grind is sacred. When you fully surrender to routine and effort, you realize success isn't a destination but a way of living. Self-discipline guides you, responsibility anchors you, and constant action drives you forward. In that repetition and learning, you discover the next secret: how small daily steps can change everything. People often underestimate the power of small steps. They think transformation comes from big moves, but it's the opposite. Real change grows from daily consistency, from micro decisions that compound over time. Each small action is a seed planted in the soil of discipline. What looks insignificant today becomes monumental tomorrow. The brain loves progress, even in small doses. When you complete a small task, it releases dopamine, reinforcing the habit. That's why starting simple is powerful. Self-discipline grows with the feeling of advancement. The secret is keeping focus on improving 1% every day. It may seem small, but 1% a day rewrites entire destinies. The all-or-nothing mindset is growth's worst enemy. Those waiting for perfect moments never begin, but those who value small steps build confidence. Responsibility isn't about changing everything at once. It's about taking the next right step. The consistency of small victories builds invisible mountains. Each one matters more than you think. Imagine someone learning a new language. If they study just 15 minutes daily, within a year, they'll speak with ease. That's the power of accumulation. Self-discipline turns effort into flow. Continuous action brings exponential results. Progress may be slow, but slow beats still. Steady pace beats quick burnout every time. The same goes for finances. Saving a small amount monthly seems trivial, until compound interest shows its magic. Responsibility to save and invest brings future freedom. Consistency is the secret of quiet wealth. Small, repeated choices make time work for you. It all demands just one thing: focus. The impatient mind craves instant rewards, but the wise value delay. They know the Chinese bamboo spends years growing underground before sprouting. Human growth works the same. Self-discipline keeps faith when nothing seems to change. Invisible progress is the strongest kind. Persistent action makes everything bloom. Small steps also create clarity. Once you start moving, even without full understanding, the path unfolds. The responsibility to begin comes before confidence. Consistency builds natural learning. Each attempt teaches. Each mistake reveals direction. It's better to stumble forward than stand still. Movement is the best teacher. Those who try to change everything at once quit fast. It's like running a marathon without ever walking a block. Intelligent self-discipline respects rhythm. It knows constancy beats intensity. Focus on small goals keeps the mind light, and lightness sustains the long game. Simplicity wins where pressure fails. A simple example: waking 10 minutes earlier. It seems small, but over time, it creates mental space for reflection, planning, and better action. Those minutes shape entire days. Responsibility for that small window builds consistency. Once the habit roots, progress becomes automatic. Change starts in minutes, not miracles. Self-discipline is like a muscle strengthened by small repetitions. You don't lift 100 kilos on day one. You start with 5. The secret is continuity. Repeated action creates endurance, and endurance turns into power. Greatness isn't in the size of effort, but the frequency of motion. Do little, but do it always. The power of small steps also lies in mindset. It's how you think that changes everything. When you learn to celebrate progress, no matter how small, you feed the desire to continue. Consistency thrives on satisfaction. Each act reminds you you're closer. Focus intensifies. The journey gains meaning. That's growth in motion. The responsibility to start small destroys fear. The brain fears the impossible, but accepts the manageable. When goals feel simple, the mind cooperates. And when the mind cooperates, the body moves. Frictionless action builds confidence. Self-discipline grows naturally this way. Not forced, but flowing with constancy. Small victories fuel self-esteem. Keeping promises to yourself, however small, strengthens identity. That's how inner respect is built. Consistency is the foundation of self-worth. Focus on simple tasks. Well done breeds pride. That quiet pride is the fuel of self-discipline. Small steps, massive strength. Even masters began small. No pianist plays Beethoven on day one. No writer publishes a classic on the first try. They just started and kept going. That's the essence of consistency. Time rewards those who don't stop. The responsibility to continue without immediate reward defines winners. Effort always compounds. Small steps also teach patience. Each day of practice reminds you that success is a slow harvest. Self-discipline is the faith of those who plant without seeing fruit. Daily action replaces anxiety with control. Consistency ensures that, sooner or later, results appear. Rushing ruins. Persistence multiplies. The secret is understanding that small changes accumulated over time spark silent revolutions. Reading 10 pages, saving a little, exercising lightly, it all counts. Responsibility is staying faithful to the process. Focus keeps distractions from breaking rhythm. Power hides in effort some. Tiny actions move mountains. And it's precisely when someone realizes that small daily actions bring great transformations that they begin to grasp the true value of time, life's most precious resource. That's where the next chapter begins, understanding the value of time. Time is the most valuable asset, and the only one you can't get back. Money, status, even health can be restored, but lost time never returns. Every wasted minute is a piece of life gone. Self-discipline begins when you truly understand this. Time is the real wealth of those with purpose. How you use it defines your fate. Most people live as if time were infinite. They delay, postpone, and convince themselves that tomorrow will always exist. That illusion is cruel. Responsibility for wise time use is the core of maturity. Each hour should be treated as investment capital. The consistency of good choices builds the bridge between now and tomorrow. Think about how many hours you've lost in distraction. Scrolling endlessly, talking without meaning, avoiding what matters. Each wasted minute is a thief of dreams. Self-discipline demands focus, the courage to say no to what doesn't build you. When you protect your time, you protect your peace. Time is power, don't give it away. Life isn't short, it's poorly managed. The issue isn't lack of time, but lack of priorities. Responsibility for structuring your day is respect for your own existence. Planning, acting, resting with intention. That's efficiency's holy trinity. The consistency of a good routine turns chaos into clarity. And clarity is strength. Action is the only way to turn time into results. Without movement, time dissolves like smoke. Procrastination is the biggest thief of years. People waste decades waiting for the right moment, not realizing it never comes. Use every second as a tool for construction. Self-discipline makes that possible. Those who value time know the clock is impartial. It moves the same for everyone, rich or poor, talented or not. The difference lies in how it's spent. Responsibility is personal and non-transferable. Consistency in smart use creates silent advantage. And focus prevents time from being stolen by nonsense. Observe the greats. They treat time as sacred. They know when to work, learn, and rest. Self-discipline acts as their internal clock. Every minute has purpose. That precision gives them a sense of mastery. Control over time is the first step to control over life. Time is a weapon. If used right, it never misses. Time and energy are twins. Free hours mean nothing if your mind is scattered. The real value lies in using time with focus and presence. Responsibility means being fully in each task. Consistency and deep attention builds mastery. Living in the present moment is the art of living fully. Time expands with attention. Intentional action turns ordinary minutes into milestones of progress. It's not about working all day, but working with purpose. One focused hour beats 10 distracted ones. Self-discipline doesn't measure time by quantity, but by quality. The clock rewards total presence. Excellence is time well used. Responsibility for time is emotional too. Avoiding people and situations that drain your energy is self-respect. Time spent on what destroys your spirit is disguised waste. Consistency in protecting your peace is worth more than any busy schedule. Focus on yourself builds authentic productivity. Inner calm breeds external order. Time teaches that success is a patience game. Nothing great happens fast. Self-discipline is the virtue of working while waiting. Daily action accelerates the inevitable. Hurry causes mistakes. Constancy builds solid outcomes. Valuing time is realizing progress needs rhythm, not rush. Calm speed wins. Whoever wastes time wastes life. The clock doesn't forgive chronic distraction. Responsibility to use each day intentionally divides the fulfilled from the regretful. Consistency builds legacy minute by minute. Focus keeps your eyes on what matters. Everything else is noise disguised as urgency. Self-discipline is the art of saying no to waste. It teaches that every second matters. When you see time as gold, everything changes. How you work, love, and live. Respect for time is respect for existence. Conscious action is the sign of those who understand life's price tag. Every second counts. One day you'll look back and see time as your biggest investment or your greatest loss. The responsibility you take today determines tomorrow's pride or regret. Consistency among those who value now creates future freedom. Focus today becomes security tomorrow. Time charges heavy interest from those who ignore it. It's not about stuffing your day with tasks, but filling it with purpose. Self-discipline helps you choose quality over quantity. Doing less, but doing it with intention, is wisdom. Focused action has more impact than 1,000 scattered efforts. Responsibility for what truly matters builds a life rich with meaning. Time is life in motion. Waste it, and you abandon a part of yourself. Consistency turns "someday I will" into "I already did." Focus on savoring each moment creates silent strength. Self-discipline stops you from trading minutes for crumbs. And time rewards those who treat it like treasure. And it's at this point that the individual understands time is life's most valuable resource, and that using it well demands courage. Because in the end, there are two kinds of pain: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And that's exactly what the next chapter reveals. In life, everyone will feel pain. The difference lies in which kind you choose: the pain of self-discipline or the pain of regret. The first is temporary and constructive. The second is eternal and corrosive. The price of discipline is high, but the price of regret is unbearable. It's better to sweat now than to cry later. Every action has a cost, and the choice is yours. The pain of discipline is the discomfort that shapes. It's waking up early, training tired, studying when everyone else rests. It hurts, yes, but that pain brings pride. Regret, however, arrives late, quietly, and charges with interest for lost time. Self-discipline is the vaccine against it. Those who practice consistency today harvest peace tomorrow. Effort's pain fades, omission's pain stays. The human mind seeks the easy path, but the easy path charges dearly. Life always offers two doors: effort now or regret later. Responsibility is consciously choosing which price to pay. The pain of discipline is predictable, manageable, and full of purpose. The pain of regret is chaotic and incurable. Choosing right requires focus. Those who flee from discomfort end up building invisible prisons. Each time you avoid effort, you lose a bit of freedom. Self-discipline is the act of facing discomfort head-on. It's daily training that expels weakness from the soul. Constant action hardens character and purifies the mind. Pain is temporary. Regret is lifelong. Consistency is the bridge that turns pain into power. Each repetition builds resistance. Over time, what once hurt becomes normal, and what was hard becomes easy. That's how great people stand out. They don't feel less pain. They've simply learned to handle it better. Self-discipline taught them to find beauty in sacrifice. Regret is treacherous. It arrives disguised as nostalgia, but carries poison. What if I had tried? What if I had started? Those questions weigh like chains. Responsibility for not letting what-ifs exist is yours. Action today is the antidote to tomorrow's remorse. Consistency prevents time from turning into guilt. The pain of discipline strengthens the body and educates the soul. It teaches patience, humility, and control. The disciplined person understands discomfort is a disguised teacher. Every challenge is a lesson. Self-discipline doesn't seek comfort, it seeks growth. And growth always requires action. Effort is the price of freedom. Responsibility is emotional too. Recognizing that avoiding discomfort isn't protection but sabotage is maturity. Consistency transforms pain into a shield. Focus keeps your eyes on purpose, even when your body wants to quit. Regret destroys from the inside. Discipline builds from the outside. And both are daily choices. Think of those who abandoned their dreams. Everyone has an excuse, but deep down they know. Courage was missing. Action was missing. Self-discipline is the opposite of that. It turns desire into motion, and motion into realization. Regret is the absence of attempt. The pain of discipline proves you're alive and growing. Consistency teaches that today's sacrifice is tomorrow's comfort. Every hard decision is an investment. Responsibility means doing what must be done, even without applause. Regret comes from too much comfort. Self-discipline prevents that. It reminds you that every second counts. Every action shapes destiny. Effort's pain is the signature of winners. They don't fear fatigue because they know it's temporary. Failure hurts less than eternal doubt. Self-discipline is courage in motion. It shows life rewards those who face discomfort with dignity. Focus is keeping your eyes on the future while enduring the present. Those who choose discipline learn to respect the process. They know without pain there's no evolution. Consistency protects them from quitting. Responsibility keeps them on the path. Focus ensures the sacrifice isn't wasted. Pain becomes a teacher, and regret, a distant memory. That's maturity. Life spares no one from pain, but only the strong use it as fuel. Self-discipline turns suffering into wisdom. Regret paralyzes, while constructive pain moves. Persistent action is the remedy for both. Consistency reminds you daily that quitting hurts too, just longer. Regret feeds on inertia. It's born from all the tomorrows that never arrive. Responsibility breaks that cycle with attitude. Every action today is a wall against future remorse. Self-discipline teaches that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. The secret lies in turning pain into learning. Pain is a signal of progress, not punishment. It shows movement. Consistency makes that pain worthwhile. Self-discipline turns each drop of sweat into a step upward. Focus makes you remember why you started. Responsibility keeps you from stopping. Life is hard, but fair with those who keep going. Regret is the ghost of lost chances. It visits those who waited too long, who let fear win. The pain of discipline, however, is the soundtrack of growth. It follows those who chose to act. Daily action is the shield against that ghost. Self-discipline ensures the past holds no power. Consistency keeps the future clean. And when someone understands that enduring pain is the price of freedom, they begin to see the real enemy. It's not time, nor the world, it's themselves. That's where the next step begins, the pursuit of mental strength and self-mastery. The mind is the most powerful and most dangerous battlefield. Whoever wins inside it wins anywhere. Self-discipline is the general of that war, and focus is the weapon. Mental strength doesn't come from talent but from control. It's the ability to stay calm in chaos, to act with logic when others react with emotion. Mastering the mind is mastering the world. The true enemy isn't outside, it's inside. The lazy mind makes excuses. The trained mind finds solutions. Responsibility begins when you stop blaming circumstances. Every thought is a command, every reaction a choice. Self-discipline is the filter between impulse and decision. Whoever controls their impulses controls their destiny. Consistency is the training of a strong mind. It's not about avoiding pain, but refusing to let it dictate your actions. Mental strength forms when you do what's needed, tired, angry, or unmotivated. Daily action of maintaining focus builds willpower. And willpower is the muscle that sustains dreams. Self-mastery starts with observation. When you learn to watch yourself, You notice your patterns, what triggers you, and what strengthens you. That awareness is step one of self-discipline. Responsibility means taking control of your mind before it controls you. Focus is the light guiding between reason and emotion. A strong mind is trained, not inherited. It's forged in discomfort. Every time you face fear, you gain more power over yourself. Action is the mental workout that breaks limits. Consistency transforms courage into habit. Mental strength isn't about being prepared, it's about never quitting. Picture a warrior. He doesn't enter battle expecting ease. He enters prepared for anything. So should your mind. Self-discipline keeps you centered, responsibility keeps you steady, and focus prevents impulse-driven chaos. This trio creates balance, and balance is the secret to inner strength. An undisciplined mind is like a wild horse, powerful but uncontrollable. Self-mastery is the saddle that turns chaos into direction. Consistency teaches control over emotion and thought. The action of breathing, reflecting, and responding calmly. That's true strength. Being strong is refusing to let the external define the internal. Self-discipline is emotional too. It's choosing peace over reaction, knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. Focus protects you from unnecessary explosions. Responsibility reminds you that self-control isn't weakness, it's power. Whoever masters anger masters life. Mental strength is built daily. Each time you say no to impulses, your character fortifies. Consistency creates invisible armor. Focus lets you see beyond the moment. Self-discipline ensures your choices come from reason, not reaction. That's the line between reacting and responding. Action is where a strong mind proves itself. Under pressure, your behavior reveals who you are. Responsibility forces you to act with balance, even in chaos. Consistency in keeping composure, even when the world collapses, is the sign of true strength. Control under pressure is mastery in practice. Self-mastery is being unshaken by both criticism and praise. Neither hate destroys you nor admiration corrupts you. Self-discipline creates emotional independence. Focus keeps your values firm. Action, despite lack of recognition, separates the wise from the proud. True power is silent. Responsibility also means not being a slave to your emotions. Observing instead of reacting changes everything. Consistency in staying calm is more valuable than any degree. Self-discipline turns your mind into an ally, not an enemy. Focus on yourself until the world loses its noise. A strong mind doesn't seek control over others, but over itself. Self-mastery is the noblest victory. Correct action comes from balance, not impulse. Consistency shapes serenity. Self-discipline sustains clarity. When the world screams, the wise stay silent. In that silence, they hear what truly matters. Self-mastery is patience too. It's realizing not everything can be controlled, but everything can be handled wisely. Responsibility is choosing calm over anger. Self-discipline teaches you to pick your battles. Focus prevents you from wasting energy on what doesn't matter. Emotional intelligence is quiet strength. Consistency turns self-control into lifestyle. Every time you stay balanced, your mind hardens. Choosing awareness over impulse is revolutionary. Self-discipline becomes your internal guide. Whoever conquers themselves conquers everything. Freedom begins within. The weak mind seeks to control others. The strong mind seeks to control itself. Responsibility for self-mastery is the essence of freedom. Consistency practices lucidity daily. Focus shields from distraction. Self-discipline unites it all. Self-control is the peak of awareness. And when someone masters themselves, something profound happens. They stop acting out of impulse and start acting with purpose. Action becomes conscious. Focus becomes serene. And it's at this stage of the journey that they understand. Everything they do echoes. Every choice builds a legacy. Every human leaves a trail. Some footprints fade in the sand. Others carve into stone. Legacy is that. What remains when the sound of your voice is gone? It's built in daily choices, silent actions, and consistent actions. Self-discipline is the invisible foundation of legacy. Those who live with purpose don't seek applause, they seek meaning. True impact doesn't come from grand gestures, but from consistency. It's the small daily actions, guided by firm values, that change the world. The responsibility to act with integrity, even unseen, turns ordinary people into eternal examples. Focus on what truly matters creates deep roots. And roots don't shake. Legacy isn't what you accumulate. It's what you awaken in others. Money fades, fame disappears, but positive influence is immortal. Every word, every gesture, every action shapes the world around you. Self-discipline ensures your intentions become real results. Consistency keeps your impact alive long after you're gone. The responsibility of leaving something good requires awareness. Ask yourself, what does the world gain from my existence? That question mirrors the mature soul. Focus on contributing rather than consuming. That's what separates leaders from the ordinary. Action guided by good leaves marks time can't erase. That's the power of legacy. Many chase recognition, but the great understand that legacy isn't about fame. It's about silent influence. Self-discipline teaches you to work quietly and let results speak. The consistency of serving, helping, teaching, and inspiring builds invisible bridges. Focus on the right purpose transforms lives without spotlights. Impact isn't measured in numbers, but in transformation. How many lives improved because you existed? How many people acted because of your example? The responsibility to be a lighthouse in darkness defines true leaders. Coherent action earns respect. Empty talk earns oblivion. Self-discipline sustains what words promise. Legacy is coherence, aligning what you say, do, and are. Consistency between thought and attitude builds trust. Self-discipline keeps ego from derailing purpose. Responsibility to maintain integrity preserves essence. True impact is moral, not material. Reputation fades, character endures. Action is the pen that writes legacy. Each choice is a line in the invisible book you leave behind. Consistency gives the pages meaning. Self-discipline is the steady hand that doesn't tremble in fear. Focus edits out the unnecessary. Legacy is the book time never burns. Life's too short to live only for yourself. True meaning lies in contribution. The responsibility to build something bigger than yourself gives life weight. Self-discipline keeps you persistent. Focus directs your energy. When your action helps others grow, you've already left an eternal mark. Impact begins in silence, in simple choices. Being kind, honest, fair, that already changes the atmosphere. The consistency of such acts creates reputation. Responsibility for staying true defines character. Self-discipline ensures your values don't break when tested. That's legacy in pure form. Purpose-driven action is contagious. One act of courage sparks another. The consistency of integrity teaches more than 1,000 speeches. Focus on serving naturally earns respect. Responsibility to continue, even tired, separates those who pass through life from those who live fully. Legacy is continuity, knowing everything you do today echoes in someone's tomorrow. Self-discipline sustains that echo. Consistency turns good intentions into lasting results. Focus ensures your impact endures. Action keeps the world turning in the right direction. Living with purpose multiplies light. Responsibility to leave the world better starts at home, in how you treat others, in your smallest gestures. Self-discipline shows in details. Focus means doing right even when unseen. Consistency turns intention into tangible legacy. Great change begins in small acts. Time erases faces, but not values. Self-discipline engraves marks that outlive decades. Focus on continuous growth inspires generations. Responsibility to live with integrity ensures you're remembered with honor. Action today defines tomorrow's memory. Legacy is living memory. Real impact comes from consistency, from never giving up. Self-discipline keeps promises from becoming empty words. Focus keeps you on purpose. Responsibility makes you persist even without recognition. Legacy isn't built in days, but in decades. It's the result of all conscious actions combined. Self-discipline is also altruism, doing good without expecting return. Focus on serving, even unnoticed. Responsibility to keep going comes from knowing true impact is invisible to eyes, but eternal in hearts. Consistency in that behavior builds lasting respect. Legacy is serving with purpose. And when someone realizes each act is a seed planted in the soil of time, they understand legacy isn't about the end but the journey. Self-discipline keeps them walking, action keeps them moving, and focus guides them true. And thus, they close the cycle, turning today into eternity. Now that you've heard it all, stop and ask yourself, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you let it die in your mind, or will you turn it into attitude? Self-discipline doesn't grow through words, it grows through action. Every second of inertia is a step toward regret. And time, my friend, doesn't wait. The responsibility to change is yours alone. No one will do it for you. The world belongs to those who act, not those who complain. If you want different results, you must become a different person. And that starts now, not tomorrow, not Monday now. Consistency separates dreamers from achievers. Think of what you could conquer with focus for just 1 year without quitting. How many projects would come to life? How many fears would vanish? Self-discipline is the muscle of freedom, and every action is training. Time will pass either way, but what you do with it changes everything. So tell me, will you keep making excuses or start acting? Will you hide behind later or build now? The choice is simple but demands courage. Responsibility for a full life is personal. Success's price is paid in sweat, not intention. Those who understand this never return to the old pattern. If this audiobook awakened you, if something inside you moved, then act. Don't just think, do. Consistency starts with the first step, and that step begins now. Share this message, practice what you've learned, and keep feeding your self-discipline. The future belongs to those who refuse to wait. And before you go, remember, this channel is for those who choose growth. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and keep learning daily. Here, you won't find excuses, only action, purpose, and focus. Because the game of life is simple. Either you build your legacy, or you spend life watching others build theirs.